Hello internet, my name is Lave and I finally watched I, Tonya, which is directed by Craig Gillespie, who's made quite a few films of varying quality. I think my favourite previous film of his is Lars and the Real Girl, but you can see from his filmography that he's quite a versatile director in terms of the genres which he works on. His latest is a comedy drama biography which charts the rise of Tonya Harding, the Olympic ice skating competitor in the 80s and 90s, and her involvement in the infamous leg bashing of fellow competitor Nancy Kerrigan. So I vaguely remember this happening. I was 11 years old in 1994 when the Olympics and the leg smashing scandal occurred. So I knew it was based on a true story, but I wasn't quite prepared as to how surreal and how insane the whole story was. And Gillespie does a fantastic job of capturing that insanity and putting it on screen. It's been marketed as the Goodfellas of ice skating movies, when I actually think it's more in line with The Wolf of Wall Street in terms of its tone and its structure. It's got the same frenetic energy. It utilises narration and flashbacks and intercuts that with floating head interviews, but then it's also self-aware and meta and fourth wall breaking. On numerous occasions, characters will stop and look directly down the lens and say, "This actually happened," or they will say, "This didn't happen." So despite the fact that it is a true story, it's quite hard to cipher out all of the bullshit. And I imagine the people making this film were probably presented with the same problem. I think they've gathered as much information as they can, but the problem is when the people telling this story are so untrustworthy and liars, it's hard to decipher what actually is true and what is not. But I don't want to go into too much detail because even though this is a true story, that would be giving away spoilers. For now, I'll just say that the first and second act in particular are very well constructed, and I also really liked the soundtrack. I love any film that has Dire Straits in the soundtrack, although there is one particular song choice which fits the film and fits the scene that it's in. It's just unfortunate that Guardians of the Galaxy have already used it. Performance-wise, Margot Robbie gives a career best as the titular character. The film paints quite a picture of her broken family life, which doesn't fit the mould traditionally associated with the sport, but as the tagline says, who needs class when you have talent? And she is talented. The film goes more than out of its way to let you know that she is the first and only woman to complete the triple axel in competition. So you can't help but admire her grit and determination. And I actually felt quite sympathetic for her, even when I shouldn't, and that's all down to Margot Robbie's performance. She keeps saying throughout the film whenever something goes wrong that it's not her fault. She has one particularly great moment where she's talking directly to you, the audience, and she blames you for something. It made me sit back in my seat and go, whoa, sorry Tonya. It is a brilliant performance, and I know I shouldn't like this character, but I did, even when she makes questionable decisions. Perhaps it's because she is surrounded by lowlives and idiots. Allison Janney is playing her mother in this, the definitive, selfish, overbearing, just horrible mother. She steals the show. Just when you think she's going to redeem herself, she goes even lower. It's a fantastic performance from her. And then you've got Sebastian who's playing her on-again, off-again husband, Jeff. Now, I don't know what to make of this character. He's either a Ned Flanders-esque wimpy pushover of a man, or he's a thunder cunt. That's where the truth of the film gets most blurred. Yeah, I'm not sure on him. There are some great other supporting characters and performances, and despite how good the performances are and how well executed and put together this film is, I did feel that it was beginning to run out of steam by the third act. There is a point in this film where I thought, oh, it's wrapping up, but then it carries on for another 20 minutes. I think it definitely could have benefited from being a little bit shorter. My only other criticism involves the ice skating scenes, which unfortunately does have some pretty dodgy CG head replacement effects in it. Now, I'm being really super nitpicky here because it's not a CG driven film, and I don't expect Margot Robbie to perform Olympic standards ice skating, but it is dodgy. It's about as convincing as the ice skating that we see Will Ferrell and John Heder do in Blades of Glory. They are figure skating. So that's my thoughts on I, Tonya, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. It's an entertaining, outrageous biography. I had a lot of fun with it. It does balance the comedy and the drama pretty well, but as I say, I felt that it was running out of steam by the third act. But other than that, a very funny, entertaining film. I managed to see this a little bit early courtesy of Odeon Screen Unseen, so this is yet another film which has been released over in the States for ages and we haven't got yet, but when it does get a full release at the end of February, I think you should go and see it. It is a lot of fun. Yep, still waiting to see Lady Bird, unfortunately, but that's just the way it is. But in the meantime, thanks very much for watching this review. I really do appreciate it. If you can, give this video a like and don't forget to share the Lave. Lave is figure skating. Subscribe.